A story today about my dog. Barney is not living anymore, but when he first came to live with us in 1990, Barney was 16 years old. We think he was about that old. He was young in spirit. He would, if you said it's time to go for a walk, Barney would leap into the air. But his body wasn't so young, and when he landed, he would be splayed on the floor sometimes and had a hard time standing again. But he still had that young spirit. Barney didn't do much. He liked to kind of stand on the sidewalk and watch the leaves blow by. But as I said, he loved his walks. Sometimes he would get in our way. Barney loved food. And he got into a lot of trouble because of that, as you can imagine. He would take things off the counter. When I was preparing a meal, he would be underfoot all the time, waiting for crumbs to drop. And while we were eating dinner, he would be under the kitchen table, bumping into our knees. We'd find his head in our laps sometimes, hoping that a morsel of spaghetti would fall from our fork into his mouth. Well, the thing is, though, we loved Barney, even though we got into trouble a lot. He was big and soft and warm, and we were really happy that he came to live with us. When he was younger, he lived with my parents, and sometimes we would go to visit my parents in Wisconsin, another state. And Barney was really full of energy then. He was a younger dog. And he also got into trouble when he lived with my parents for his eating practices. There was never enough food. One day, I decided to bake some cookies, and I took a stick of butter out of the refrigerator. I unwrapped it, and I put it on a plate, and put the plate on the counter. In about an hour, I came back into the kitchen to start my cookies, and there was Barney, pleased as could be, his whole body just quivering with excitement, his tail wagging, and in between his teeth, a perfect stick of butter. "Barney," I said, and all of a sudden, his body kind of wilted. His tail fell between his rear legs. He bowed his head, opened his jaw, and the butter fell onto the floor with a plop. "Bad dog," I said. So cowering like this, he walked around the butter and went into the living room and laid down under the piano. Now, I don't remember exactly what Barney did after that, but I know that on many occasions he got in trouble with food and other things, being too enthusiastic sometimes, jumping on people. And after he was reprimanded, he got over it really quickly, within minutes. If you said, "Do you want to go for a walk?" Barney would be up, jumping in the air and ready to go. If you said, "Good dog, Barney," and petted his head, he just wagged his tail, and this could be minutes after he had just been reprimanded. So I've been thinking about how dogs might have something to teach us about what we do when we feel we have wronged someone or they have wronged us. Caleb?
With all that, like, dogs can teach us, are you saying dogs can teach us how to eat?
Oh, you might think dogs could teach us how to eat, he said. I think dogs have something to teach us about how to forgive ourselves when we make a mistake, and how we can forgive others when they make a mistake, and start again in relationship. Yes?
Well, if dogs can't teach us, they can't talk.
They can't talk, but they can show us.
But and show and mark this speak, Martha can talk, and that's cool.
Right. Sometimes cartoons, they can. Yes?
My dog is just like Barney.
Your dog is just like Barney. I think many dogs are. Oh, and a bunny rabbit. They all have so much to teach us. Okay. So we can forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. Okay, you can return to your families now.